I remember we're driving, we get on the main road, we're about to go over the bridge, and that was my last memory. When I woke up, it was 2 weeks after. I was in France, Marseilles, and I was wondering what's going on. I saw a bunch of Caucasian doctors around me and nurses. Then they said, okay, hey, do you speak French? I said, no, I didn't really speak it. I understood just a little bit. So they told me, oh, if an English doctor will come and explain everything that happened to you. I was just a little bit confused. So the following day, the doctor came and told me, hey, you got into a car accident. I'm like, yeah, so what's going on? Why can't, where's my family? Where's my sister? Where's my nephew? Where's my uncle? I didn't even know what country I was in. It's like, hey, you came here maybe a day ago, and they had to do a big spinal cord operation. And I'm like, what is spinal cord? I didn't even know anything about it. So later on, what I realized is what I was told, fast forward when I came to Canada, that when we got over the bridge, the driver was, I don't know, was speeding or I'm not sure exactly what happened, but they told me that he went over the bridge, came crashing down on my side. So when that happened, obviously you're in a foreign country and a lot of people want to help you out. People yank you out of the car, try their best to get you into any car to drive you to the military hospital. Before we got to the hospital, we even help us out. They found out that we were from abroad. I got stripped of all my belongings. I had my money, I had my camera, took my shoes. Then that's when they took us to the hospital. While I was in the hospital, they called my insurance. My sister knew where my insurance paper was. It was in my luggage. So apparently they woke me up for maybe 5-10 minutes. I was able to tell her where my documents was. And she went to the airport the following day and she grabbed my belongings and called my insurance. My sister was not severely injured. She was she had some few back problems and stuff, and my nephew had a lot of scars on his face because when the accident happened, right? Apparently my body went on top of him and the glass from the main windows kind of cut up some of his face and stuff. My uncle was paralyzed from his neck down, and one of my uncle broke his elbow. Then the driver surprisingly was untouched. When you do get into a car accident or anything that is related to your spine, you have to do the surgery within 18 hours. And if it's not done within 18 hours, the swelling on the spine could crush your spine, where therefore you will lose a lot of more mobility. So I think it had a lot to play in how severe my injury got. I think they put me in a coma for, I think, a week and a half until they were able to arrange the air ambulance and they flew me to France, Marseilles, where I had the spinal cord injury surgery done. The doctors came one day and I'm like, hey, I'm going through a lot of pain. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe from time to time my body would get into a shock where I feel like I'm freezing. Then it will go on for about an hour or two. Then it will switch and my body feel like as if somebody put me in fire and my whole body's burning. But at the time, I guess my body is trying to find out about the temperature regulating it and back and forth. Because I lost my movement and I lost my sensation, my body didn't know exactly what's going on. So from time to time, my body will go into a shock where I'm hot, very hot, then it turns into cold. But that's part of the spinal cord injury that I'll probably explain the details when it comes down to what is complete and incomplete. So I'm lying down, then now okay, I got into a spinal cord injury, I have a spinal cord injury. Let me try to lift up my hands. I try to lift up my hands, nothing is budging. Try lifting up my leg, nothing is budging. It's like I feel like I'm lifting it, my leg just felt super heavy. Nothing is happening. My hands super heavy, nothing is happening. I called the nurse and said, hey, can I talk to somebody? I don't know what's going on. I can't lift up any part of my body. And they're like, sir, you're paralyzed. Right now, we don't know exactly how severe it is, but let's see how the surgery heals up. And maybe you will get some more movement through rehab and just wait a little bit, because right now they don't know. They can't really tell me anything. It was a serious information that they gave me that I was kind of shocked. The first thing that I remember is, okay, cool, I'm paralyzed. Okay, well, let's see. Maybe I could start to get into wheelchair, then use my hand. Oh, this might be a new opportunity for me to play basketball, so I can do wheelchair basketball or wheelchair sports. So the whole thing I'm thinking about, okay, cool. Let me find a way to adapt to the situation. Fast forward, let's say 2 weeks later, after I was stable enough to take an air ambulance, my insurance flew me and my dad from Marseille, France to Iceland with one air ambulance doctor. Then from Iceland, we switched another plane, then we flew to Vancouver. And when we got to Vancouver, Canada, we stayed there for a little bit, then got into Canadian Airline, then we flew to Brampton, where I stayed in Brampton Civic for about 2-3 months until I was able to go to Toronto Rehab Lyndhurst, and that's where I started my rehab. When I got to my rehab center, which is Toronto Rehab Lyndhurst by Bayview and Eglinton, I was very excited. Because I didn't know exactly what to expect. And obviously it's a rehab center, so they will give me more details on exactly the extent of my injury. At the moment, I couldn't move my hands or my legs or anything like that. I was completely paralyzed from my neck down. The only thing that I had was my shoulder movement. When I got to Toronto Rehab Lyndhurst, the doctor came and assessed me and used some pins and needles just to touch different part of my body to let me know exactly which side of my body I could feel, which side I can move and stuff. After the initial assessment, I wasn't able to feel anywhere from my chest down, and my hands, my arm, my legs, there was no feelings. And on top of that, there's no movement. So he told me, just looking at the spinal cord injury classification, I was a C4 complete, meaning paralyzed from your neck down. And until I'm able to develop some more movement, that is what they're gonna work on. They're gonna work on the kind of movement that I already have. So rehab was about 3 months to be exact. I thought I was just gonna come to the rehab and start walking right away because of the work that I'm gonna put in. But unfortunately, rehab was not just a physical part of it. They gave you multiple tools when it come down to how you're gonna live with your spinal cord injury, how you're gonna basically be independent of your spinal cord injury, get in a wheelchair, how to move around with your wheelchair, aside from just the basic exercise that they include. It was very important for me to learn some of these tools, because all these are things that I will continue to use throughout my life going forward, that I've been able to continue to live with my spinal cord injury for the past 13 years. I think right about maybe 3 months later, I moved out of Lyndhurst. My rehab was done. I had to continue doing outpatient rehab and just doing regular range of motions until any part of my spine start to heal. Then they could also come back and work on those movement. But unfortunately, I was not able to get any part of my movement. My shoulders, I was able to lift up my shoulders little by little, and throughout that, the first year, I was able to get my joint, my shoulder move up and down, where I'm able to drive my wheelchair. Before, I was driving my wheelchair with my head control, where my head would be like this, and if I push back, it goes forward. If I go left and right, it was very uncomfortable, but I felt like I've achieved a lot when I was able to get my hands movement to start driving my new wheelchair. That I have been able to get around with it for about the past 13 years now. When I moved to my place that I'm living right now, it was a big change, because in a hospital or rehab, Everything is done for you. You don't need to direct your care. You don't meet new people that are new to this injury. You don't meet PSW that are basically learning off basically what they're teaching you. So transitional was very difficult for me. I wasn't really fully not fully interested in life, but I was a little bit depressed in so much ways, accepting the changes that I'll see my body was going through and my environment, feeling like I did not belong in my environment. But it took some time. Fast forward 3 years later, I took a picture when I first moved at my current location, and I went back and I looked at the picture and I'm like, whoa, this is not the kind of person who I am, or this is not the kind of person that I want to continue living as, because I looked at myself and I look a little bit miserable. I look very uninterested in life itself, and I had nothing going for me. I was just living day to day. I get up, I get the PSW to help me get out of bed, use the washroom, sit in my chair, I watch TV, I watch stuff on the computer back and forth, and it became a routine. Then I'll go to bed back and forth. I was not doing nothing productive in life. And from there on, I'm like, okay, to be honest, that didn't really describe who I was and who I wanted to continue to live like. So from there on, I'm like, I needed to make some changes in my life and be more active.